What's up, guys? This is ShadowWolf810, and I'm making another video. The last one that I uploaded was received very, very well, surprisingly well, to be honest, and so I'm pretty pumped, and I want to try to get you guys into Hearthstone, because it is quite the fun game once you get past the learning curve, which is kind of steep, but I'm here to lessen that for you guys. So let's go ahead and get right into it. I'm going to try and explain as much of everything as I possibly can and give you a sort of a working knowledge of the basics, and the specifics and the strategies and learning the cards and learning just what move is the appropriate move is going to come later. So what I want you guys to do is focus on just kind of learning the mechanics of the game. Look at, if you need to, pause the video and just kind of read over all of the abilities of the cards as they come up. And to be honest, they're really self-explanatory, and so once you get a knowledge of the general mechanics and the overall restrictions and rules of the game, then the strategy and the techniques and everything come into play after you have some experience with the game. So I've been having some issues with this game not using my custom deck, which is kind of annoying me, so I'm gonna hope to get this deck. I guess I should explain first of all that there are 9 different characters that you can use. They're called heroes. I'm probably gonna slip and call them champions because I play a lot of League of Legends, so I apologize for that. But each hero has their own class-specific cards that they can use to create a custom deck, and then there's also a deck that you can choose from that's neutral. So there's class-specific cards and non-class-specific cards that can be put into a custom deck, which is going to have a total of 30 cards. So I'm going to go ahead and select my my Rush Mage deck. So basically, my Mage is my best one, and I would say at least, and this deck is kind of structured toward doing a lot of damage early and then kind of out-sustaining your opponent until you can do very, very powerful spells to finish them off. So with any luck, the game will actually be using the right deck. Hey, it looks like it is. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and explain. This is your starting hand. So because I only got 3 cards, I'm going first. The other person's going to get 4 cards, as you can see up here, because to even out the advantage of going first, they get a 4th card. They actually get a 5th card as well, which allows them to have 1 extra mana. But anyway, what you want to do is take a look at the cards and just be aware that in the top left-hand corner of the card, it shows how much mana it costs to use this card. In the bottom left is going to be how much attack damage it does, and in the bottom right is going to be how much health it has. So this one could do 4 damage, and it could take up to 2 damage before it dies. And also you can pay attention to the descriptions, because that's going to tell you what they do. And if I wanted to, I could replace all of these and draw 3 more cards, but these are all pretty good cards to keep because they're all pretty low, so I'm going to go ahead and keep them. And by low, I mean they're low mana cost. As you can see down here, these are your mana crystals. So I have 1 mana crystal right now, and as you can see, I just got a second one of these cards. That's another thing to mention, is you can only have a limit of 2 cards in a deck, and that kind of changes with other stuff, but I'll leave it at that for now. And every turn you get 1 extra mana crystal, so every turn you get to draw 1 more card and you move up in a mana crystal. So next turn I'll have 2, turn after that I'll have 3, so on and so on. So right now I only have 1 mana crystal, can't do anything, so I'm gonna go ahead and end my turn. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get into some of these different things. What I'm going to try and do is get one of these out fairly quickly. Okay, so let's go over, I guess, what this is. This is a mana worm. It whenever you cast a spell, it's going to gain 1 attack damage, and so we don't really want that happening. So what we want to do is probably going to go ahead and play this card. So this card's ability is that it can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. So the mage's hero power is a fireball that does 1 damage and it costs 2 mana. So if I were to try to target, like if I were on the opposing side and I tried to target it with my spell, like a spell is like this is a fireball, I wouldn't be able to target this minion with it. So that's just its ability, and you can read through these. I'll go over each of these. So this one has a battle cry, which essentially just means whatever its battle cry is will happen when you put it down. So when I put down this card, nothing happened, because nothing extra happened because it doesn't have a battle cry. If I were to put this one down, it would do what it says, which is to give your opponent a mana crystal. Let's see here. Deal 3 damage. Okay, so now we have a choice. We can either play these 2 cards and do 3 damage to all of them and get another minion out, and then trade with this, or we can do a fireball and that. So what we're going to start with is this, because they both kind of depend on what happens there. Okay, so because we got really lucky and it straight up killed this minion, we are now going to have a different strategy. So the best thing to do probably right now is going to be we want to take this thing out as soon as possible, because they can scale really ridiculously and get just insanely powerful. So what we want to do is most likely probably play our second fairy dragon and go ahead and attack the face. That's what that's what they call it when you attack the hero, is attacking the face. So and like I said, my deck is kind of geared toward doing a whole bunch of damage to their face really early. And so that's my best bet. If I had played this one, he only has 2 damage and 1 health. He has a death rattle, which I'll explain, is when he dies, that happens. So it's essentially the opposite of a battle cry, where a battle cry happens as soon as... I shouldn't have been covering up the board so you could see what happened. But when a battle cry goes off, it does it at the beginning of the turn. A death rattle is when the card gets killed. So this is a taunt. This card he played, and he also killed my other fairy dragon. So this is a recap of what happened. So he used his mana worm to kill my one fairy dragon. And now he's got a taunt out, and a taunt basically means that I have to attack this minion. If there were other minions, I couldn't attack them if this was still alive, and I also can't just attack his champion. So what I need to do is get this shit out of my face. This is a fireball, which does 6 damage, and if you are paying attention at home, this guy only has 5 health, so we're going to go ahead and get him the shit out of my face and attack the face one more time. So he's down to 23 health already, and it's only been like, what, 4 turns? So this is definitely playing into the strengths of how my deck is meant to be played. He would have another one. Why wouldn't he? So let's see. We have 5 mana, so we have options. What we can do is if we were to attack this, use this guy to attack here, he would die, but this guy would be down to 2 health, and then I could use this spell to kill it, or I could leave it up for another turn and kind of set up more minions. So I think what I'm going to do is, actually I can do all of those. So here's what we're going to do. This summons 2 0/2 taunts, so basically I now have 2 cards that have taunt on them, just like this guy has taunt, except these don't do any damage and they just have 2 health, so they're relatively easy to get rid of. I'm going to go ahead and play my Leper Gnome, which is going to be a 2/1, and then if it dies, it's going to do 2 damage to the hero, which again goes with the strengths of my deck. And here, we're going to go ahead and deal 3 damage to the character, to this. And so it's going to freeze it as well, which is going to mean it can't attack for the next turn. And that means he's not going to be able to trade with anything. So what he would want to do right now if this wasn't frozen is he'd want to take out this, because he would be doing the maximum, like, well, actually he has to attack these 2 first, but oh, that's lame. Okay, so anyway, he would have had to have attacked these 2 first, so what I said was kind of redundant, but as you can see, these 2 are taunts, and so he would have to attack those. But he just used his hero ability on my Leper Gnome because it only had 1 health, which means it died. However, it did 2 damage to him because of its death rattle. So now we have another option. Basically, we can either... let's see, I'm thinking. We can use this and we could if we got rid of this, then we can kill this, and that's a relatively decent trade because this is a higher value card than this one is. Because it has 3 health and 3 attack, whereas this one, this one only has 3 and 2, this one has 3 and 3, so it's a good trade to, you know, I would have the advantage there. So, anyway, I think what our only real play here is to use Frostbolt on this one, which is going to put it down to 2 health, and then we can go ahead and use our Fireball and put it down to 1. And so now, next turn, basically anything can kill it. It's once again frozen, so it can't attack. And basically, if he doesn't put any more minions down, his only attack would be to use this to kill one of these. And this essentially keeps my Fairy Dragon alive for 1 more turn. And because this only has 1 health next turn, I'll be able to use Fireball on it again and get rid of it without having to sacrifice my Fairy Dragon. So... that's such a... if my roommate walks in, I'm so screwed. So this is a polymorph, which is quite annoying of a card. What it does is it changes anything into a 1/1 sheep. I'm not quite sure why he attacked that. He could have used his hero power to kill the sheep and then used the attack from this minion to take out the other taunt, but now I have an extra minion, which actually saves me 2 mana because now I can just use the sheep to take out his Shield Master here, which is the taunt, so I can go ahead and just do that. And I still have 7 mana left, so I think what we're going to do... yes, we're going to use this. So this has a charge and a battle cry. The charge means that because I just now put it down, it can be used this turn, but it gives him a mana crystal. So now we're on even terms, essentially. I don't have the mana advantage where I would have previously, where I would have 7 and he would have 6, and then I would have 8 and he would have 7. So anyway, and we can also play our Mana Worm, because why not? And we have 2, well, we have one of these. So probably the best course of action here is going to be to trade into this, because if I left it on the board, he could, until next turn, he could then on his turn use this to take out this minion, which is of a higher, it's worth more than this minion is. So I'm going to take the initiative and make the trade for him so he doesn't have the choice. And now I can use this to attack the face and use our hero power because we have remaining mana, and he's now down to 16 health, which is really good. The mage has a card called Pyroblast, which is essentially does 10 damage for 10 mana. So what you want to do as a mage is get the other mage down to, or the other hero is what I mean, down to 10 mana so that you can use Pyroblast, as you can see here. So now, unfortunately, I've run kind of short on cards, so I don't really have too many moves here. I think the best thing for me to do, let's see, we can take out both his taunts, but that means that both of my cards are going to die next turn if he doesn't attack my face. So I can use a hero power here, which will put it down to 1 health, and because this has 1 attack, now I can kill that one. And this one has 4 attack, and this one only has 2 health, so it's going to instantly die. But that's my whole turn. I can't do anything else, even though I have 6 remaining mana. So unfortunately, I'm running low on cards. They are too. They only have 3, but they're still in the advantage because they have more than me, of course. So now what he's going to do is use this to trade into here, which is a really good trade for him because he took out a really strong card with a relatively, well, not relatively, but with a weaker one. My God! Okay, he would have 2 of those. So now he has 2 more taunts. This is the fun part about fighting other mages. Okay, so I kind of have to use this card here. It's going to draw 2 cards for each person, so he's going to have 5, but I'll have 2 more. Is that the right move? Let's think about it. Next turn, I'll have Pyroblast. Okay, and I can survive quite a bit because I'm at 25 health. He'll do 8 damage, or wow, I can add. He'll do 6 damage to here, so I'll be down to 19 next turn. But I can go ahead and get rid of one of his taunts this turn. And I don't necessarily need to use this because that might give him something that could just royally screw me over. He would have then gotten 3 extra cards, so the odds of him getting something that was useful is pretty high, and because next turn I'm going to use Pyroblast anyway, I can kind of delay it a little bit. and not really have to worry about it too much. So see, I only took 2 damage. Depends on what he uses here. But okay, so this is just another minion. So I took a total of 3 damage, but I didn't give him any cards. So now it's basically just luck as to which one, like what happens from here on out. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Pyroblast here because that's going to ignore the taunt. Spells ignore taunts. Otherwise, if they didn't, I wouldn't have been able to attack him. But if I had a minion down here, I wouldn't have been able to attack any, like either of these guys or the champion themselves, the hero themselves. I would have had to have attacked the taunt. I think I explained that already. I'm not quite sure. But that used all 10 of my mana for this round, but it put him down to 6 health, which means next turn I just got this fireball, which I just realized, and that means I win because there's no way that he can do enough damage to my hero to get me down to 0, and I'm gonna be able to use this next turn regardless because I'll have 6 damage. Holy shit, he might kill me. Okay, he got me down pretty low, I'm not gonna lie, but unfortunately it wasn't quite enough. So we're gonna go ahead and say well played and fireball the guy. So I win. As you can see, guys, the game, it's kind of based on luck. There's definitely luck involved. I wouldn't say based on luck. There's still definitely a ton of strategy into this game, but grim situations can actually turn out really well for you. So, why is my screen black? What happened? There we go. I'm not quite sure what just happened. Sorry, guys. So, anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. There's still a ton to explain about this game, but I needed to get a basic tutorial out to you guys so that you beginners who are interested can follow up from now on. If I started with the super advanced stuff, it wouldn't really cater to you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to look out for more Hearthstone videos in the near future. And other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.